Daily Broadside, day 825. Man, there's three places I don't argue, and that's restaurants. Unless my food's already come and I've consumed it, and there's some issue I can't even think of a time where that's even happened. Typically it's either that food sucked, we'll never go there again, or that was great. Or that's just I don't get all petty about whatever. But I'm not arguing with somebody that has access to my food. So that's the first one. The second one is airports. While I loathe the TSA with all my soul, I think they're one of the dumbest branches of government that have ever been created because they do literally nothing. Do you remember back in the day, as an aside, the TSA had, and this was like in the Bush era, like I think his second term, they came up with a randomizer for which line to get in as to whether or not you'd be screened or whatever. And it was an iPad. It was like an iPad 2, a little 8.5 screen or whatever. And it would just had an arrow that pointed left, right, left, right, left, right, so that you followed the arrow of whichever, one came before you. And they paid I want to say it was over $1 million to develop this program, to put on this iPad. And all that iPad did was stand on put it on a stand and would just shoot arrows randomly. I know nothing about computer programming, but I feel like I could go to YouTube and figure out a way to make that program for way less than $1 million. It just goes right back to all the money we waste. It's so dumb. But what was I saying? So TSA, I play nice with them because I need to get on the plane and go where I'm going. And the third place is, along the same lines as the airport, is customs. Anytime I've come back into the country through border patrol or customs, when you get off a flight and you got to, answer all this, I play nice because I want to get back into my bed in my country because I like it here. And although other places are nice, they're not where I want to be exiled. So, three things. And so I say that to say this. It fascinates me that these people on planes just argue, well, I'm not leaving. Ma'am, you're going to get off the plane, or we're going to deplane the entire plane, and everybody's getting off. And it's just it's like a trespass issue. Trespass is, like, criminally speaking, the dumbest thing that you can involve yourself in as a criminal or a suspect or whatever you want to call it. Because if I'm somewhere and they've asked me to leave, they have the right to do that. Even if it's a public building, they can ask me to leave if they don't want me there and I don't have business there anymore. Doesn't matter that your taxes paid for that building. It's still, they have a right to ask you to leave. I don't care what anybody tells you. So all these stupid sovereign auditors and everything, they're not necessarily right. So the thing is, if somebody comes to you and they're in charge of that place and they say, hey, you, for whatever reason, we don't want you here, you got to go. You're an idiot if you don't leave, because you have no choice. You can either run away when the police get there, okay, or you can go to jail for not leaving, or you can leave on your own. Why you would stay there? I guess you think that the police are bluffing or whatever. And it's the same thing with people on planes where they're just, I'm not getting off. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to Phoenix. No, you're not going to Phoenix. You think they're going to take this plane off? No, they're not going to take off. They're just not going to leave. So they're going to drag you kicking and screaming off. It's just dumb. The whole thing is stupid and it makes no sense and I don't like it. So those are three things that I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? And then I would like to say that all these people that keep trying to convince us to go to Mars, I'm not going to Mars, okay? I was in my shop just yesterday or the day before. It was the day before. I was in there I was working on my trailer. I'm building a bench in my trailer for a bunch of stuff. And I'm in there looking for something and whatnot. And I'm looking around. I'm like, God, when I finally move, it's just going to suck. Moving sucks anyway, but I damn sure don't want to move all this stuff. It's just, you just accumulate so much crap. And I need it all. I'm trying to downsize, but it's still, there's a lot of stuff I need. And I'm like, I'm not moving to Mars. I'm currently at 6 vehicles, 3 trailers, a tractor, a mower, God knows how many tools, like every tool known to man. It's just dumb, not to mention all my furniture. I got more stuff outside than I do inside my house. It's crazy. How am I going to get all that crap to Mars? It costs like $2 or $3 grand to ship a car across this country. What's it going to cost to ship a car to Mars? So I'm not colonizing anything. That's just not going to be part of what I do. And I'll tell you something about PGA golf. I know it's a gentleman's sport, and there's a lot of historical things to it and whatnot, and they don't, for one thing, the pros don't use carts, okay, and I get it. I understand why. But, some golf courses are like 4 miles long. I mean, it's like adding in more walking than necessary when you need to be focused on arguably the hardest head game of all sports in golf, right? Mentally speaking, like you got to be tuned in to be good at that. You got to have your physical skills and all that repetition and everything, but you also got to be mentally tough because there's a huge component to that coming at you. But I don't like the fact that you hit a ball, then you got to walk 300 yards and hit the ball again when you should just get in a cart and ride up there and then spend your next couple minutes that you would have been walking, kind of figuring out how you're going to hit this shot and you're going to draw it, you're going to bring it back in and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's, they're athletes in my opinion. I mean, it's not the days of John Daly and Craig Stadler back in the day where people were just had skills, but they weren't really healthy about it. But these dudes they're fit. It's just like NASCAR. Those guys work out like beasts. They are athletes. I don't care what you say. If they're not athletes, you go out there and do it. Okay, it takes skill and athleticism to do what it does, and coordination. The coordination in a golf swing is probably one of the most. It's right up there with like hitting a baseball at 104 miles an hour, I'd imagine. I mean, just the mechanics of it. Of course, that is kind of the same swing. It's just on a different plane, I guess. But what I'm getting at is I think they should add carts in, okay? It would be like an NBA player hitting a free throw and then having to drop down and do 15 push-ups before they hit the next one. Like, you shouldn't have to get your heart. It's not a heart rate type of anaerobic type of exercise. It's a skill sport that doesn't need you to be out of breath. Like, even though walking 200 yards is not necessarily going to make you out of breath, especially if they're in shape. But I'm just saying, it's just not necessary. Just hop on a damn cart and speed up play. We could do more and whatnot. And while we're talking about golf, I'll throw this in there real quick. If you like golf, I just discovered recently, and I'm sure other people have already discovered because he's got like 1 million some followers. Bryson DeChambeau, I guess I'm saying that right. But he's got a YouTube channel where he does this really cool stuff where he'll take like Phil Mickelson or John Daly, Donald Trump, all these people that are good golfers or pro golfers, and he'll try to break 50 playing like a scramble mix with the two of them. Or he'll like play 3 high school players at once, and they'll get to play best ball or captain's choice or something, and he'll play them. Or he get like a Walmart set of clubs with just a cheap driver, 7-iron, putter, and a wedge, and he'll try to he'll beat like a pro golfer or a long drive champion or something. And it's pretty amazing. It's amazing what that dude can do with a golf ball. And he's called the scientist for a reason. His scientific approach to coming up with new ways of playing the game and approaching it with technology and whatnot. I just found it kind of interesting. And if you're ever up at 2 a.m, you got nothing else to do and you like golf, there's your buddy right there. Wilson's your doctor. Yeah, have a good one, Giddy.